Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you're having a good one. So there is so much to talk about. So much to talk about. So I wake up this morning and we have, Bitcoin down expected. We have Binance denying the rumor that they were hacked. Um, that's kind of big. But they're like, yeah, there was no security breach. What are you talking about? I'm going to say that I do believe that there are people out there that are trying to crack, Binance. I also believe that it's going to be very hard for them to do so. Just saying, this sounds like common sense to me. Could just be me, but sounds like. It's not an impossibility. I think any exchange, whether it be centralized or decentralized, can be hacked. I think anybody's account can be phished, which is why I exercise diligence in managing and securing my wallets, right? I think people really should think about what it is they're doing to secure their funds. And it's not just where, it's also how, right? So I don't keep a lot of assets on a centralized exchange. I've said this time and time again. I do not keep a lot of assets on a centralized exchange. To me, that's the equivalent of keeping too many assets in a bank, right? So what do I do? Well, I use non custodial services. I'm the service. I use non custodial wallets, right? And then how do you manage those non custodial wallets? Well, you make sure that your hardware, if you're using a hardware key, is secure. That your actual hardware is secure. You make sure that your private keys are secure. You leave different seeds in different places so that you can always get to it. Should you lose your phone, let's say, should you have a computer breakdown, let's say, there are different things that you need to be able to do to recover, right? So when I sit back and I look at everything, I just go, yeah, we kind of need to chill and really take a step back and really take a deep dive into not just the where do I store my assets, but the how do I store my assets. I'm just asking you to do that so that you can keep your bags secure. It's not just about growing your bags, right? Somebody told me when I was a kid, it's not just about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. So be diligent, people. The next batter up, Bitcoin is going to face really good tailwinds. But let's address the elephant in the room. There are two hot wars in the world right now: Ukraine and now Israel and Iran. Let's just put it out there. Israel is not just fighting Hezbollah, they're fighting Iran. They're not just fighting the Houthis, they're fighting Iran. They're fighting Iran and all their proxies. That's what's going on. Iran's response yesterday was very targeted. It was very acute. It was very foretold, right? Hey, we're going to do something. This is what we're going to do. You pretty much know where we're going to aim. So if you don't mind, just make sure that what we send doesn't do too much. We don't really want this to escalate. That's really what happened. The question mark everybody has right now is over Israel, Israel's response. That's the big deal right now. So if Israel says, okay, we have to respond, but we can respond in kind. I was listening to the news today and they're like, well, there are targets that we could hit, right? And there are targets that we can send a message that we could hit them. We're dealing with something that is affecting the market. And now you're wondering, well, what's the third place that Eddie was talking about? The South China Sea. China's been saber rattling for a really long time, and it's making its neighbors very nervous. And I want you to think about this. Who's involved in each one of these things? So China, Iran, and Russia, Ukraine, right? And you sit there and you just kind of go, wow. Hurting economies. And, Iran would be standing by itself unless China came to its aid, because Russia can't do jack. Russia came to them for weapons. See what I mean? So whatever Iran does, whatever happens in the Middle East is going to have an effect in Ukraine. And depending on what happens, it could be a profound, effect in Ukraine. Because if Russia doesn't have enough weaponry to move forward, that's going to be a problem for them. For the rest of the world, it would be, we would solve one problem, markets would be happy, because that's a problem that needs to go away. It needs to end. It needs to end. And it needs to end with Russia being on the wrong side. South China Sea, that's been going on for ages. I don't know. I think it's warm. I think it's always been warm. Is it boiling? No. I think it's been kept at a certain rate for a really long time. I think China's just letting everybody know we're the big boy in the region. I think that's what's really going on there. But Iran, Israel, I think there's a tipping point that could happen. And the tipping point right now is at the same place, excuse me, except maybe a little bit worse than we were back in April. So there's something to consider right there. So if that goes away, things around the world calm down, there are no real negatives for the markets to go down. I did find something strange, though. I found it strange that technology, went down, right? First. Like, what? Why would technology stocks take a hit? So I didn't understand that. I mean, I get it. Oil goes up. Oil, is the basis for just about everything. So yeah, it goes up. Okay, I get it. I absolutely get it. But man, oh man, like seriously? Seriously. So I'm just, it just perplexes. And I don't know that it perplexes me as much as I know that, well, there are a lot of automated trading, trades that happen, a lot of automated risk analyses that happen. So I kind of get it. But would a human stop and say, oh, we have to consider, technology first? That technology wouldn't have been the first thing I thought of. We've got the port strike that's happening right now. It's affecting the East Coast and the Gulf. Those are major problems. Those are major, major, major problems. Right? If the port, strike goes on for a week, it's going to affect us for a month. If it goes on for, a month, it'll affect us into 2025. It's not a small thing. It's not a small thing. And people are going to be looking for safe havens. They're going to be looking for all kinds of things. Prices will go up. And they're fighting for, they're fighting against automation. It's not really about the money. It's about the future, their jobs. On the West Coast, you have a lot of automation. On the East Coast, you don't. And they're trying to keep it that way. I don't know if they can keep it that way for long. At some point, we're going to have to start thinking about, from a wider perspective, we need to start thinking about how we're going to train our citizens to earn, number one, earn money, put food on the table, right? But then it's also a matter of, well, what's the future? It's going to be difficult to teach somebody who works with their hands all the time to move over to computers. There have got to be other positions that these people can do, that would still be interesting to them, helpful to them, earn money for them. But if everything starts to become automated, if you think about the ports as being huge freaking Amazon warehouses with machines doing just about everything, very few humans, you're talking about thousands of jobs that go away with automation. That's not a small thing. It's not a small thing at all. But I do think about, how people are going to be able to put food on the table. I think that's the conversation that needs to happen. That's the conversation. So yeah. And where are those jobs going to be? Right? I mean, there are a lot of jobs out there that, are going to be affected by, automation. There are machines out there that build houses. The machines build the bulk of the house. You need so few less construction workers to be able to do that. So if you're looking at an area that needs to build a house, I think last time I looked at it, there were like 7 machines that were just out there just building houses. Foundation, first floor. And you sit there and you're just like, wow. Imagine if those machines could go higher than the first floor, go up to the second floor, maybe even a third floor. If those machines can build all of that out with, minimum amount of, touch by, construction workers, that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. The world is changing, and we need to figure out, well, how do we earn money? And I wasn't expecting to have this conversation so early in the morning, but then I started looking at just everything that's going around in the world. The regular person, how does the regular person put food on the table? That's what I think about. That's literally what I think about. How does the regular person put food on the table? All these big companies, all the wealthy, all the rich, they don't have that problem. But the regular person using mass transit to get to work, or maybe driving, 50, 100, 150 miles just to get to work, these are becoming very big deals. And nobody wants to have the conversation. I'm sitting back, like, people, this is the conversation. This is the one. Where are those jobs? And it's not that the jobs don't exist. I think just people are not stopping to think about how they might be able to leverage their skills in different ways. But I also think that there is a certain amount of corporate greed that happens as well. There's a lot of offshoring of jobs that happens in the United States, a lot. So when I talk about growing our bags and doing this research and doing all this stuff, I have a friend of mine. He's like a brother to me, lost his job. He's taken to day trading. I mean, he's always traded, but he's taken to day trading, to do his income. And he's like, dude, it's turning into a job. It's turning into that I'm making enough that this is the job. I'm just saying there are things that we can do, that we can learn, that we could do more. In his case, that's what it happened to be. For me, I'm just sitting back and I'm just really looking at everything that's going on around the world and how the little person, because I'm a little person, I might look like I have a lot of money. I don't. I get up every day. I work. So how does a little person put food on the table? How does a little person make it work? How does a little person make it happen? How does a little person stretch a dollar to, for a week? Told you I'm a kid from the Bronx. I grew up stretching the dollar. You don't crack jokes on who's poor because we all were. If you look at where we are now, the definition of poor, the definition of rich, the definition of wealthy have all changed. They've all changed. I mean, you should see the number right now that says that you're poor. There are a lot of us in that bucket. I think there are a lot of us in that bucket and they don't even realize it. So yeah, when I do this research, this is what I'm talking about. It's not just how much money we make, it's how much money we keep. And it's about, can we make that money work for us while we're out there busting our humps trying to make more money? Some of us are just trying to get by. But not trying to do anything else. We're just trying to get by. Some of us just fighting for just a little bit extra. Just a tiny bit. So why do I deliver the news? Why do I do this? That's why. Because I want my kids to understand this is how you're going to have to make money. We're going to have to raise our kids to understand how to make money, how to react to different things. So by all rights and purposes, Bitcoin and the crypto market should be up. Is it? No. It's down because we have international problems, macro events, right? These are examples of macro events that are hurting markets right now. Because if those macro events didn't happen or weren't happening, because they're active right now, markets would be soaring. October would have started with a bang instead of a pfft. Seriously. I mean, the news from last night, I mean, a ton of news. Uniswap earned more money, even though it is, it earned money because it raised fees, even though it's being investigated by the SEC. Grayscale launched a decentralized AI fund, right? for accredited investors. Gemini is leaving Canada. So did Binance, so did OKX. Is that a good thing? No, but they're making inroads elsewhere. Binance expanded operations into Argentina, right? Chainalysis reveals, not even that one. Canary Capital launched its first H-bar trust, Hedera, Hashgraph. That's what that is. Bitwise filed for an XRP ETF. There are a lot of positive things that are going on. Shibarium launched the Shiboshi Rush game, or is launching the Shiboshi Rush game, increasing its ecosystem. Coinbase announced a system upgrade. Why? Well, they have their Wrap BTC that's going on. So they want to increase, reach for that. You've got a lot of stuff that's going on. A lot of positive stuff. So yeah, if we didn't have macro events, we wouldn't have these problems. But the fact is that you do have to worry about and plan for macro events that can affect your bag. So people, this is what I ask you to do. Every day, get up, do at least a little bit of your own research. Always do your own research. You hear me say something, trust but verify. Trust but verify. That's not going to hurt. You hear anybody say anything, you read something, trust but verify. Go see if you can find corroborating information about whatever subject is being offered. That's it. Doesn't take a lot. Doesn't take a lot. 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. What you'll find is you will retain more information. You retain more information the more research you do. That's all it takes. That's it. Don't sit back and wait for somebody to do it for you. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Become accustomed to doing it yourself. The more you rely on others, the easier it is for you to be led into problems. So you hear something, trust but verify. I tell you that, somebody's opening up a trust for Hedera, go look it up. Did that really happen? Maybe he got his wires crossed. Let me join the community. If it happened, great. I'll let him know, hey, I checked that and it did happen. Or I checked that and hey, it's not happening. They're only talking about it. Trust but verify. That's what the Grow My Bag community is all about. We fact check each other hard. It's all out of love. What's the whole point of this community? The whole point of this community is to help you earn money. Is to help us each grow our own bags by sharing information. That's what it's all about. We're not financial advisors here. I'm the comic relief. I'm the entertainment. But we share information that can help us grow each of our own respective bags. That's the idea. One ship rises, all ships rise. That's the whole point. Somebody asked me, well, don't you have to have a lot of money? I'm like, no, you don't. Remember back in the day, they told you, you could save $5, $5, and it starts to compound. Same thing applies in crypto. Same thing applies. A little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. Get used to a little bit of money per paycheck, right? You smoke cigarettes? Take 1 pack a day. Instead of having a pack a day, it's healthier. Put it into crypto. How much money is that you'd be able to knock off and save? I remember when I was a kid, my mother used to smoke, and I did the math on how much money she would have if she would just stop smoking. Now, it's a bad argument to bring to somebody that smokes. They smoke because they like to smoke. That's it. They're not going to change unless they want to change. But it was the idea of, this is the amount of money. Like, wow, what could you do with that? You got to think ahead. So that's all I want to do is think ahead. Take the news, think ahead. And with that, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. Because the numbers are not beautiful. All right. So Taking a look at the GMB crypto tracker top 25 losers. Look at this. Double digits all the way down. The market is definitely on a serious downturn. You know, who's down? Dogs is down. It just came out. It's already 1.47x. Why? Because it's 60% off its all-time high, and it just came out. Arweave is down 16%. Beam is down 15%. Hamster Combat is down another 15%. Only 37% off its all-time high. It had been worse. But it's basically pulling back on all the gains that it did have. Floki is down 13%, 1.47 GMBX factor, 60% off its all-time high. This is why I use the GMB crypto tracker, because I can see right here live what's going on with whatever coin. Do I think it'll make its GMBX factor? Should I jump in here? This is the research that I'm able to do with just some of the numbers that I have. Some of the calculations that I've created. This is what makes it valuable. Who's on the winner's side? Damn near nobody. Wormhole's been blowing up. Wormhole has been blowing up. But that 25% jump up. Tell me that's not crazy. 76% off its all-time high. A 3.27 GMBX factor. Can you say holy wow? And then from there, it just falls off a cliff. Look and see how fast it gets to zero. That's because the whole market is down because of a macro event that's affecting the globe. Two hot pockets in the globe, two hot wars that have global reach, global impact. A third warm area that can have an effect on a global scale. I'm saying this to you to drill it into your head that no matter how positive a given market can be, you can still have a big issue, right? When it comes to what's going on and what can affect your bag from a macro level. Just saying. Fear and greed index is at 42. Yesterday's at 50. The day before, last week, it was all the way in the 60s. Just saying. So you're going from the 60s all the way down to 42. We dropped like 20 points. DeFi Llama dropped $4 billion down to 92 billion, 92.31 billion in total value locked. Here's the only saving grace right here. When you zoom in, right there, the 20-day moving average is looking like it might go up a little bit. But I think we could be, depending on what the response is from Israel today, tomorrow, this week, this could shoot down again. And we're well below the 200-day moving average in orange. Remember, the 20-day I have in yellow and the 200-day is in orange. That's a big deal. There's going to be a lot of volatility. If you're like me, you're probably going to think, maybe I should buy right now. Maybe now is a good time to buy. But you see how we went down, we started going up, and then we shot down again? That's what I mean. Now, I want you to think about this. Where are we playing right now? We're just in my blue band. We're just within my blue band right here. Before, we were well below the blue band. We're still playing within the blue band. My blue band goes from 57,655 all the way up to 63,719. I've had this band for over a year. This band and the bands underneath it, I've had them for over a year to demonstrate how we can show ourselves going up, show ourselves coming down, and as well as how tight the spaces are that we're actually playing in. It's a very tight band that we're playing in. So at any point, imagine Russia and Ukraine call it quits, they're done. Markets explode. Or Iran and Israel call it done. Markets won't explode. Markets will just kind of go, oh, thank heavens. And they'll get back to doing what they were doing, and you'll see everything start to pop up. Won't explode up, just start to pop up. But I don't think Iran wants a war. Can it fight a war? It can fight a war, but it absolutely does not want a war. Absolutely not right now. Not right now. They need to rebuild all of their proxies. Russia's busy, so they wouldn't be any help. Russia would have a problem. So Iran, the only good thing about Iran-Israel war, and I hate war, is the fact that it would douse plans that Russia would have. Russia would have problems. They would have to go beg China for armament. So yeah, kind of a big deal. Looking at the big board, I'm just being presented with all kinds of things. I mean, look at how red the market is. Look at how red this market is. It's insane. So yeah, I'm sitting back and I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, yep, we could do it. We could absolutely, there are so many places here where you could make some money quick. Ethereum is actually up. It was down to 23, almost 22. So you're looking at a lot of things where you can make some dough. I want you to pay attention to how far things came down. Not that far. Not that far. A lot of things right here are saying, well, we're establishing a new high. Look how far SHIB came down. Look how far Doge came down. They're establishing higher lows. It's not to say that they can't drop again, but they are absolutely establishing higher lows. Anyway, everybody, let's take a look at the next one, which is just the numbers. Just the numbers going straight across. Right? These are the things that we're paying attention to. All right? I mean, I'm just seeing opportunity. So I use the GMB crypto tracker plus this information, plus all the new research that I do to start to prioritize where I want to buy. And do I want to buy? I absolutely want to buy. Absolutely, no doubt, no joke. Let me see something. So here was your first drop, came back up a little bit, had a second drop. And I don't know if this third drop is going to tell me that it's also going to go down. I would have to zoom in a lot and like play with the numbers a lot, like a lot. Right? I don't even have any tails that are telling me anything. So I don't know is the answer. Right now, I don't know is the answer. But we seem to be going red and the volume's there. Positive volume is not there. This is showing me that there's pressure going downward. All right. We'll see. We shall see. But anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Please do your own research. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and absolutely become a member, because we're doing things like having a members only, a big bagger members only meetup on the 18th of September. It is a live video conference between me and all of the big baggers. It's a lot of fun. We share a lot of information, and we really dig deep into various conversations, and we all learn. That's the whole point. Anyway, buddy, thank you so much. Have a good one.